Hello again and welcome back to Bee's video log. Today I will be talking about my piercings, all of my different piercings, what the experience was like, how to heal it, and how long the healing time is. Okay, first off, I got my nose done when I was 18 years old. I actually had it done on this side, but I ended up losing the piercing and getting it re-pierced. But that was my first ever piercing. Probably the easiest piercing ever. The pain was, for the first one, honestly, 0. Didn't feel a thing. I was just like, oh, that's it? It's pierced? All that anxiety and it's pierced? Okay. The second time, I actually was starting to get a cold and I should not have gotten it pierced, for the record. But I was super excited about getting it re-pierced, and I went in and she pierced it and it burned. And for like 5 seconds, it was just like this hot burning feeling. It kind of felt like my nose hair was on fire and my eye did water. But after that, it was fine. Getting a cold, now that sucked. But the piercing was fine and it didn't get infected. Within 2 weeks, I changed the jewelry. And they say wait like 4 to 6 weeks, but mine was just, it was doing great, so I changed it. And I didn't have any problems with it up until a couple of months ago. I tried to put a nose ring in and then I clamped it down shut and clamped it so tight that I actually damaged the piercing. It did in fact get infected and I had to care for it, which I will do another video on how to care for an infected piercing. But all I did was saline rinse with this, the contact lens rinse. And I just would rinse off around it, and I would take a Q-tip, squirt a little bit on it, and then rinse up on the inside of the piercing 3 to 5 times a day. And if you want, you can also wash with antibacterial dial soap around the piercing when you're in the shower. That's all there is to it. Super easy. I didn't soak it. Some people recommend soaking it, but I didn't soak it. All you have to do is just rinse it. So that was my nose piercing. My second ever piercing was my Marilyn Monroe piercing. Right there. I have a tiny little white diamond stud in it right now. The healing on that was easy. The first couple of weeks, the bar was kind of long and it was catching on my teeth quite a bit and causing me some problems while I was eating. But once I was able to put in a shorter bar, I've had no problems with it whatsoever. It never got infected. And same as the nose piercing, all I did was rinse it out 3 to 5 times a day and mouthwash and brush your teeth after each meal just to keep it clean. And it healed up just fine. I never had any problems with it. Pain scale was about like a 4, a 3 or a 4, and I'm being generous with that. I mean, considering that I've given birth to 2 children without pain medication, I would probably rate it like a 2. But for most people with piercings and stuff, they would probably say it's between a 2 and a 4. So I mean, yeah, there was this little pinch when it came to the top, and then when she showed the jewelry, there was a little bit of a pinch. The lips swelled up. It was hard to speak for about a week, just because of swelling and because it hurt to really smile or laugh, but not a big deal. Healed really great. Keep makeup away from it when you're putting on makeup. Just go around the piercing. Don't get right on the piercing. You don't need to. But it was great. Third piercing that I have ever gotten. Oh, and when I say ever, I mean besides my initial earlobe piercing that I got when I was like 15. And that was pierced with a gun, and it was a horrible experience because guns are really, really bad for ear. They damage the tissue. It's like a bursting through it. It's not a nice slicing needle, so it damages tissue. This one got really infected. It was oozing pus. I didn't know how to care for it because I was a teenager, and it was just awful. Luckily, the piercing is okay, and I can still wear earrings in that, but I would not recommend a gun. So that's just my recommendation. But yeah, my third piercing that was actually a body piercing that I've ever gotten done was my belly button. And I'll show you my belly button. So that's my belly button piercing. I actually got it 9 months ago. The redness right up there, it is not infected. It is in fact healing. It is the most difficult piercing that I have ever gotten. And I say that because, not because it hurt, Not because it was super painful, not because the aftercare is any hard or anything, but because it is super long healing time. Oh my goodness. It has been 9 months and it's still not completely healed. I still can't just change jewelry whenever I want. I can't go swim in open water without risk of infection. And I let it get infected because I like to swim at a public swimming pool. And after I got it pierced, about a month or so, and I went swimming, you know, I got out, washed it up with soap and everything, but that just wasn't enough because a day later it was all swollen and red and infected. And it literally took me almost 2 months to get rid of the infection. I was using peroxide, I was using sea salt soaks every day, and it was just a gnarly infection. I literally was about to get rid of the ring when all of a sudden the infection was just like, oh, I decided to go away now, you can keep the piercing. And so I was like, hey, I can keep the piercing. But yeah, it's still not completely healed, so I have to baby it. H2 Ocean spray is really good. I do not have a bottle of that to show you right now, but spray it on the piercing, wash it with Dial soap twice a day. Dial soap again, twice a day, and do sea salt soaks or rinses, 1 teaspoon of sea salt for 8 ounces of warm distilled water. Here's the sea salt that I use, and distilled water. And just leave the solution on the belly button for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then just rinse off and let it air dry. So do that about 2 to 3 times a day up until it is not like painful anymore. Mine's at the stage where I just spray a little salt water on it, you know, like twice a day, and wash it with Dial soap in the shower because it isn't hurt anymore. It's not inflamed anymore. It's just, you know, the deep tissue inside still isn't completely healed. So, but for the first 3 or 4 months, you definitely want to baby that thing and try to keep loose clothing on. Don't let the clothing rub against it. Pain scale, like a 1 or a 2, honestly. It did not hurt. I was having anxiety going in to get it pierced. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so scary. And I was just like about to pass out, and then she clamped the little clamp on my belly button and just, it's like, take a deep breath, and I was like, and she's like, all right, let it out, and just pushed the needle through and the belly button ring through, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. So just like my nose, I got all psyched out for nothing, and there was basically no pain whatsoever. Infection, however, does hurt, so try to let it get infected. After that, I got my first upper cartilage or helix piercing done, which is this one right here. I actually have a very short gauge tongue ring in it, a 14 gauge. I had it pierced with a 16, but I have since then stretched it to a 14. And the pain on that was quite significantly worse than any of my other piercings. It was like probably about a 6 or 7. And it was just like, the piercing itself was just like, whoosh, and it was through. It was so quick, it was over. But it's the afterwards. Oh my gosh, it literally felt like somebody boxed my ear. I mean, it swelled and it hurt. And if I turned my head, like if I was watching TV and I was on the sofa and I turned my head, it kind of like touched against my ear just ever so slightly. I was just like, ah! It was so awful. I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but cartilage or helix piercings are extremely painful. I mean, they can't be horrible and they're too bad because I have 4 of them. But, you know, I have a high pain tolerance and I love my jewelry, so I put up with it. But it is not for the weak of stomach. All right. Yeah, so I mean, all the cartilage piercings are about the same pain level between a 6. Honestly, the one I got up here was my most recent cartilage piercing, and that would probably, that hurt about an 8 because it's closer. The closer you get to your head, the more it hurts, what I found out. And that one hurt so bad. It felt like somebody punched me in the head with a boulder, and it actually hurt all the way into my head and down my neck. And I took like 4 Advil for the first day and like some for the second day, and that really took care of the throbbing sensation that was in the ear. But yeah, just cleaning is just like any ear piercing. Saline salt water, rinse 3 to 5 times a day. Don't, you know, touch it unless you've washed your hands with Dial soap. Wash the piercing with Dial soap in the shower. None of these have gotten infected except for, well, okay, I lied about that. This one I changed too quickly, and it did slightly get infected, so I put the stud back in and really cared for it, and the infection cleared up. This one, I had a captive bead ring in, my lower one, and it did get infected when I went swimming in open lake or river water, either one. They're both bad. But I was in the river, yeah, this one did get infected, so it hurt. I noticed there was pain the next morning when I woke up. I was like, why is my ear hurt? And I was like, look at me. And oh my gosh, yeah, it's infected. Oh, no big deal. The ears are easy to clear up. Just really take care of them. You know, it is gross to say this, but you will have to squeeze the pus out and get it all out. Clean it really good with soap. Put peroxide on a Q-tip and clean it out, and then saline rinses. Mine cleared up within a day. Within a day, the infection was gone. The redness and swelling was gone within about a week. So it is nothing to really get freaked out about. If you have an infected piercing, please write into me, and I will get back with you as soon as possible on that, because I have had to deal with my share of infected piercings, and they're not fun for anyone involved. But they can be cured, and they can be taken care of, and you can save the piercing. So be of good cheer. Following this one, or my cartilage piercings, I got some more earlobe piercings. Pain scale, about like a 3, pinch, a little bit of a burning sensation afterwards. Rinse with saline salt water 3 times a day, 5 times a day max. And just, you know, twist the jewelry with clean fingers. After that, I got my lip pierced. I've had this one pierced for several months now, so it's fully healed. It's no problem. And then obviously my most recent one was this one. And the one I got right before it, so I did not mention, was my tongue. I had my tongue pierced now for about a month, and my piercing feels great. It's mostly healed. I am still following the aftercare, which I have my previous video on how to care for oral piercing. So you can watch there on how to care for any oral piercing. Pain for the tongue, 1. It did not hurt, did not feel a thing. I was just like, she did put a little like Orajel type numbing stuff on it before she pierced it, which probably helped, but honestly, I don't think that really made that big of a difference, because it was just like, oh, didn't hurt. And now my tongue's swollen, but my tongue swelled up, worst part, for about 4 days. It's like, I couldn't talk, and now it's swelled up in my mouth, and I couldn't really talk, and didn't really want to, and it hurt kind of into my throat, kind of like an achy feeling, which is to be expected. So if you're getting your tongue pierced and you get like an achy feeling in your throat, don't freak out. It's not infected. It's just, that's a muscle, and you pierced a muscle, and it will hurt. Not significantly though. I mean, if anything, the pain of a tongue is like an achy, kind of dull, like kind of like an over-exercised feeling in a muscle, and not like a sharp pinching pain. So not a big deal. Do the aftercare, the saline rinses, and your tongue ring should heal fine. It's one of the fastest healing piercings, so it's nothing to really freak out about. You will be able to talk again. And I'm just saying this to all of you who are getting a tongue piercing. It's not like you're going to be talking like that forever. I've heard rumors before that have discouraged me a long time from a tongue piercing, that you will get a tongue piercing and you will have a speech impediment. And that is not true. You will not have a speech impediment. If I am talking funny today, it's because I pierced my lip right here yesterday. And it hurts to talk slightly, but it's not a big deal. And so, yes, this is my latest piercing. It is 2 days old, and I am taking care of it, and it is doing great. I just have to try not to snag it on anything. So, that's it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, sorry, pain for the lip piercing is about like a 5. You know, somewhere in the middle. Not nearly as bad as an ear, but it has more of a pinch than, say, like your nose or your belly button. There is more of a pinch there, and it's very short-lived. The swelling is kind of annoying for a couple of days, but the pain is like 10 seconds max, and then it's over. So if any of you have a tattoo, believe me, piercings are nothing like a tattoo. Tattoos hurt. Piercings are just like, ow, 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 oh, oh. Okay, that's great. So I hope this helped, and you can watch more of my videos on how to take care of piercings and future piercings that I'm going to get. I will film a video telling you what piercings that I'm planning on getting in the future. Thank you so much for watching Bee's channel, and like this video.